Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jai Masters. There are so many fundamental things in yoga and spirituality. Let's start with a guru. Why do we have pictures of great masters and gurus and chant to them in song? It's not mystical. If you go into a great music school, they're going to have busts of Beethoven. They're going to have busts of Mozart. If you go to learn music, at some point, they're going to bring in Beethoven. They're going to bring in Mozart. They're going to bring in Tchaikovsky. They're going to bring in what are these called these great masters of music that created amazing things that lasted through all these centuries, all these years. You know that they say of Beethoven that he didn't write his music. He wrote down his music. It boomed in his head from youth. He just heard orchestras playing inside his head, and they caused so much turmoil and pain to not express them that he had to write them down. That's a great master of music. What's a great master? Of what? Of everything, of the meaning of life. You have these beings that were not caught in their minds, that for whatever reason, some of them at very young ages, the mind was there, but it didn't distract their consciousness. The emotions were there, but it didn't distract their consciousness. So what they were left with is what we call the seat of consciousness. Ramakrishna, very great master, in the 1800s, at the age of 5 or 6, he would be walking across the paddy fields in India in a monsoon season. The sky would be absolutely black, and then some egret birds would fly by, and the contrast of the beauty of nature, he'd fall over backwards. They thought if he has epilepsy, I mean, he would stay in that state for very long periods of time. They said even a day. And they were very concerned about him. As he grew, it stayed that way. He was like a crazy man. I'm not saying, look, Beethoven was a crazy man too. So was Mozart. I'm not saying you want to be them, but you understand the greatness of their beings. So he lived in that state. He just felt this ecstasy of Shakti pouring through his being. I told you once, when he got older, like things that happened to these great beings are so ridiculous. He didn't make things. He just kind of walked around and fell into samadhi all the time, okay, and sat in these great meditative states. And one day, they took him to an ashram in Dakshineswar, and he was just a young monk. They took him to the ashram. And this very, very rich woman, very great benefactor, had built this giant ashram to Kali, one of the goddesses in Hindu tradition. I mean, this was walls all over, many buildings, a giant place. He ended up being the guru of that ashram. He never tried. His being was just so great that little by little, everybody started following him and this and that. And then she gave it all to him. And next thing you know, there's this famous place 100 years later or something like that people go to pilgrimages all over the place. This is called a great master. A master of what? A master of Shakti, a master of transcendence, a master of wisdom. It showed just like Beethoven, just like this, and just like the great athletes. You have respect for masters of their trade. Well, the master of yoga is the highest master could possibly be. And he lived in a different plane. He didn't see the world as you see it. He literally, somebody once asked him, Master, you go to the prime minister's home, they're paying you great respect, and you stand up and start dancing and just being crazy. They asked him, don't you get embarrassed? I love his answer. He said, the only thing I've seen you can do with the respect of another human being is lose it, or at least fear of losing it, or make sure you don't lose it. Okay? He's too far gone. And they asked him, well, why don't you feel like what we feel? He said, you know how you tell me that people have apparitions, ghosts? Did they just see these cloudy things coming in and out of life, of form? He said, that's how I see your world. Every once in a while, the building you told me was there, but I have this blinding light, and this aberration, this loose cloud of that building will come into my consciousness and then float away. That's how he lived his life. These are great beings. That's a true guru. We said Sadhguru. In India, guru means teacher. Then there's this Satguru. A Satguru is supposed to be a perfect master, supposed to be a being who reached very, very high states. What does that mean? It means their consciousness is not being distracted by what our consciousness is distracted by. It's not being distracted by your thoughts, not being distracted by your emotions. Do you have thoughts and emotions? Do they have thoughts and emotions? You have so much to learn from great beings. Someone asked Ramakrishna, do you ever feel anger? And he lives in these states. He meditates for days at a time. He's gone bye-bye, all right? And they asked him, does an enlightened master ever feel anger? He said, yes, but it's like riding on water. What's the big deal? Go ride on water and have somebody read it. It's gone. It just passes right through. It's just Shakti. Just energy passes right through. There's nothing drawing your consciousness to it. It doesn't hold on to your consciousness. You don't store it. It just, whoop, whoop. Okay, that's what your emotions are like, right? That's what you have to learn from the great ones. You're not worshiping them. You're respecting the state that they lived in, that they reached, as a respect for your state. You are no different than them. I teach it all the time when people get mad at me, right? You are no different than them. Right now, at this very moment, you're no different than them. When Christ said, my Father and I are one, that is a statement you can make when you stop being yourself, when you die to be reborn, when you stop staring at your thoughts and emotions. Do you stare at your thoughts and emotions? You don't even have a choice. They say, learn to meditate. What's there to learn? Just don't watch your thoughts and emotions. That's what learn to meditate means. Don't watch your thoughts and emotions, okay? But we don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do it. So you respect a great being who has reached the states that you have not. Not that you aren't in those states. You have the same capability. So that's a Satguru. And I'm going to go further. That's a perfect master, right? Then there's a thing called an avatar. Like we use those words. Are you kidding me? What's an avatar? Beyond the Sadguru. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know anything. All right. But a being who's gone past the past. Well, I'll tell you. Because Ramakrishna talked about those states. So do the great masters. They talk about samadhi. You've heard that word. So a great master is able to go into samadhi. What does that mean? What you look at as form, the physical plane through your senses, your mind, and your emotions, they're there. Don't ask whether it's there. If you don't pay attention to it, it might as well not be there. There's somebody talking over there, but they're not distracting you. Who cares that they're talking? So a great master is able to enter into a state where the senses don't distract them, their thoughts don't distract them, and their emotions don't distract them. Well, then what distracts them? Nothing. Well, if your conscience is not distracted, what happens to it? It just is there. It's just there. Only a yogic master understands consciousness. Why? They're it. They're in that state. It's not mind. They've merged with the universe. That's called Sabhikalpa Samadhi. They even give names to these things, all right? Sabhikalpa Samadhi, what does it mean? Samadhi with form. Yogananda, when he merged into that state, he said the first time he went up there, his guru touched him, he went up. We'll talk about that later. And he merged with the universe. His body became every galaxy. It became expanding at the speed of light in every direction, everywhere, for all of eternity and infinity. He merged with the creation of the universe. Well, what about his little body down there? He wasn't paying no attention, I guarantee you right now. He's blown away by what he's merged with. That's not the highest state. The great ones teach these things, and we're not ready to listen. The highest state is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. When you're done with Samadhi, with Sabhikalpa, when you're done being blown away by experiencing your being as being the whole universe, even that doesn't distract you. And you fall back, the consciousness falls back into what's called the formless. That's what Brahma is supposed to represent, the formless. What does that mean? Before creation was created, what was there? The Buddhists call it the void. There's different traditions, they have different names. What was there? Vast nothing. What is consciousness experience? Experience the ultimate peace. It's eternal, it's infinite, and then form came into being. To me, what's beautiful is we're so lucky and fortunate to live in the world of science that we do today. It's incomprehensible. If you understand what I'm talking to you about and hear that these masters are talking about these states from hundreds and thousands of years ago, they went into caves and they learned to not get distracted by anything. And they came back and talked about these great states. Buddha did the same thing. The states of emptiness, the state of oneness with all creation. And then why did creation get formed? How did it get formed? Trillions of galaxies and hundreds of billions of stars per galaxy. Pretty big stuff. How did that come into being? They said it started with a vibration in the emptiness of the great teachings of the ancient yogis. Out of the original formlessness, a vibration. They called the vibration Om, the primary vibration that created everything. How does a vibration create everything? Doesn't even make sense. Oh, yeah? What's the quantum field? Most of you don't know. You don't get into the complexity of science. What are they saying now that they've looked all the way down there, down past molecules, down past atoms, down past electron, neutron, protons? They've gone way down with their electron microscopes and their super colliders and all this stuff. And they said there is no form. There's no particles. There are no electron, neutron, protons as particles. There's these wavelets in a field, the quantum field. What is it? We don't know. We just know there's a field of vibrations. They use the word vibrations. They call it an activation, an activated field. Like a leaf drops into a still lake. It makes ripples, doesn't it? That's what the quantum field is, the still lake that things drop into, and it creates these vibrations. That is modern science. How close is that to what the master said? There was nothing, and then there was an original vibration, and of that vibration, everything got created. The mind says, how can everything get created? How can she be created out of a little vibration? Go study quantum physics. You can tell that's what's going on right now. Everything right now, this level. There's just these vibrations taking place. They are not particles. They're wavelets. And the wavelets seem to be like particles when we look at them because there's billions of them. They kind of average together and act like a particle. But there are no particles. There's not particle physics. There's just wavelets. Okay? What does the Bible say? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. And so you start to catch on that you are a great being. Your consciousness has the ability to experience creation. Why? You were there. It is your consciousness. When you go to sleep, you have dreams. What are they made of? Are they real? Do you experience them? Do you get scared? Do you have all kinds of experiences and so on? Then you wake up and you tell everybody what happened to you in your dream. Well, there was nothing there. Yeah, there was. Consciousness made wavelets. You'll call them vrittis, vibrations in the mind, and those manifested as those dreams, those thought patterns that you have. It's pretty amazing when you get down to understanding what the contribution that yoga has made to science, to everything. All right? So there's your beginning. That's why there are pictures of masters. A human being is a very, very great thing. And you are a human being. You're a very, very great thing. Why don't I feel like that? Okay, let's bring our talk down to earth. If I'm a very, very great being, why don't I feel that? In fact, the chant we just said is that the Guru is Sat Chit Ananda. What does that mean? Eternal conscious ecstasy. That is the nature of consciousness. It doesn't have to do anything, doesn't experience anything. Its nature is eternal, always been there, conscious, aware, ecstasy, constant ecstasy. That's all the master said they lived in, no matter what. That is the nature. Everything has a nature. That is the nature of consciousness. Are you conscious? Then that's your nature. That's what I try to challenge you. If you're a conscious being and consciousness is eternal conscious ecstasy, then you are in a state of eternal conscious ecstasy. Okay, I like it. Where can I get some? All right. Why don't I feel it? Okay, let's deal with that. Let's take a breath. Why don't I feel that? Form gets created. Planets, galaxies, all this stuff gets created. The Big Bang, call it whatever you want. Just a vibration manifesting the quantum field. And there it is. Now what? Now what happens is that consciousness that expanded into form, how? By vibrating. It made itself. Where's God? Every single place, every atom, every single thing is of the same consciousness that has expressed itself as these quantum field vibrations and then manifested up to this. What does that mean? If I have steam and I blow cold water on it, what do I get? Water. Blow some more cold water on it. What do I get? Ice. Aren't they all the same H2O molecules? When I blow cold water, what am I doing? I'm changing the vibration rate. A gas has very high vibration rates. A solid has slower vibration rates. That's all that's happening here. The field vibrated. It starts to pull together. It can pull together and makes form. Based on what? Based on the laws of creation. Like your body exists. You didn't make your body. It had a single cell was hanging out there, and it made into the baby that was you. Did you do that? Did your mother do that? Did your father do that? Did Einstein do that? Nobody did that. It happened by itself. It knew how to turn food and water and sunshine into this body, and then the body grew. Did you make your body grow? It's all happening by itself. The whole universe is manifesting out of these quantum field vibrations, and then they pull themselves together based on what? Based on the laws. Now, that is such a cop-out. Okay, I know how the body got created as a scientist. It's not God or anything like that. I know how the body got created from a single cell. DNA. See, I'm brilliant. What is DNA? It's a molecule. Where did it come from? It made itself. When? A long time ago. It made itself. Wow, that's pretty amazing. A molecule that knows how to make a liver, a kidney, eyeballs, and every single thing that's inside your being. What? Every single strand of DNA knows how to make the entire body. You know that. It's not differentiated. It's just all the genes are on there. How can you talk about it? There's no God. No, there's not a God the way people want to think about it. There's some force that vibrated, and that's what came out of the vibration. Hundreds of millions of years, all this stuff came out, and it made all this, every tree, everything. And not only made it, it's making it right now. That tree doesn't exist, except that the quantum field is vibrating like that. Okay, get some down, very serious. Why don't I experience this? What's going on? If that's what it is, if it's all consciousness and I'm conscious, then why don't I experience myself as the creation of the universe? Christ said, my Father and I are one. That consciousness that is creating all of creation came down into a body to hang around at this level. And that's what you see what's happening. So the vibration of creation vibrated and created form. But that's not consciousness. The consciousness, that's the same consciousness that vibrated to make your dreams or make form, came down. All of you are God descended, came down into form, and you're aware. What are you aware of? You're aware of form. Who is? You are. You're conscious. The master used to sing a song, spirit and nature dancing together. Consciousness and form. That's what you are. Do you have a body? How do you know? I'm aware of it. Your consciousness, which is the same consciousness as Christ, the same consciousness as Buddha, the same consciousness of the greatest master who walked the face of the earth. Consciousness is consciousness. There's no differentiation. But consciousness can focus or not focus. I don't want to say focus or expand. It's already fully expanded across the whole universe. But it can focus. Can your consciousness focus? Can you focus on your finger? Can you focus on your foot? Can you focus on a diamond ring? Can you focus on a building? Yes or no? What does it mean to focus? I'm only looking at that. My consciousness is only aware of that. Are there other things there? Of course there are other things there. I'm going to bring a rattlesnake in here. All right? Is there still people? No, there's a rattlesnake. All right? In other words, I've become distracted. That's my key word. My consciousness has become distracted by an object of consciousness, so much so that I have focused my consciousness on it so much that I can't experience anything else. Can that happen to you? Does it happen to you all the time? Somebody's talking. You think you're talking about you. What's going on in your consciousness? That. But there's music playing, but it's raining outside, but somebody else is talking. Your consciousness becomes distracted and focusing on an object of consciousness. Fair enough? Can you get distracted by a thought? Can somebody be talking to you in the middle of their conversation? You have a thought. Next thing you know, you have no idea what they said. Can you be reading a book at home? Oh, reading your book, okay? And you turn 3 pages and you realize you did not read one single word on that page. You did. The voice in your head said it, but you didn't pay attention. You were thinking something else. Your everyday experiences are teaching you every single thing about the highest truth that ever existed, but you're not paying attention, all right? So consciousness can stay expanded. You can stand on a mountaintop and see everything, but then a rattlesnake shows up, you don't see it anymore. It can stay expanded, or it can contract or focus on something. Your consciousness, which is a very great thing, is addicted to your thoughts, to your emotions, to what is coming in through your senses. Do you care more about what's coming through your senses than what's coming through her senses? Do you care more about your emotions, whatever's going on with her emotions? Do you care more about your thoughts? And her means 8.3 billion other people. Do you take priority over all of it? Do you have to work too? Oh, wait a minute, I have to concentrate on myself. Not at all. You do not have the ability to not concentrate on yourself. Do you have a voice in your head that talks to you about what you like and don't like, what you're afraid of, and what might happen, what might not happen, what to do about it all the time? Are you kind of distracted by that? Or is it equal to everything else going on? Not even close. That is what's happening. As creation is creation, and we'll talk about again that the creation is not even there. It's just consciousness expressing itself into form and then looking down into its form. Okay. When I understood this and then read the Bible for the first time back in 72, and I read about the fall from the garden. We've all heard about the fall from the garden. It so matched the fact that you were seated in divine consciousness. Everything was fine. It was just beyond heaven. It was just Eden. There it is. Everything's there. You're experiencing everything. It's unbelievable. And then what happened? What happened is you got caught. It's called the Tree of SelfNowledge. You got caught in tasting what it felt like to be the body. Different drives and different this and different foods and different kinds of stuff, all right? What it felt like to be the body. And that pulled your consciousness out of God consciousness down to personal consciousness, down to I am this body, I am this mind, I am these thoughts, I am these preferences, I am these hopes, I am these dreams, I am these concepts, I am these views, I am me. But what you defined as me was not God anymore, was it? It was consciousness drawn down to this object of consciousness. I want to know, can you relate to that? Is that not where you are? And what did it say when you fell from the garden? Now you must work by the sweat of your brow to be okay. You know something about that? Is that not what you're doing all the time? Why? You're ecstatic. You're in heaven. Forget heaven. You're way beyond heaven. You're in this oneness with eternal ecstasy. But you're not. But you are, but you're not. Because your consciousness is focused on this little tiny, how little is that thing that you're paying attention to? A certain set of thoughts, a certain set of emotions, very small. Even small compared to 8.3 billion other sets of emotions, not to mention the rest of the universe. I know I try to get that across to you. Have you got it? There's pretty small stuff to be paying attention to. You are so caught in that. You're more addicted to that than a drug addict is to their drugs. In fact, the reason the drug addict does their drugs because they can't handle what they're addicted to inside themselves. Because it's not nice. Nobody does heroin or heavy drugs, any drugs, if they're in ecstasy. It's because you're not, because you're lost. And it's uncomfortable focusing on this stuff you're focusing on, right? The emotions, well, stop focusing on it. Having trouble with your thoughts? Don't listen to them. You have trouble with your emotions? Let them go. You know how to do that, do you? That's the spiritual path. That's what ends up happening when you finally come all the way down. I hope you see how small it is. I've been trying to teach you that. How small is what your consciousness is focused on a daily basis? It's embarrassing, is it not? Oh my God, it might rain tomorrow. I don't want it to rain. I wanted to do camping because Paul asked me to go out with him. I really like Paul. What was that? How can that be worth focusing on as opposed to everything? Forget everything. How does that be worth focusing on then appreciating nature and creation that you see around you? Forget merge it with the universe. Why would you rather think about fear of what the weather's going to be tomorrow, whether somebody says something nice about you, whether somebody told somebody something some years ago that might not have been nice about you, and you know that bothers you? How can that be worth wasting your life focusing your consciousness on that garbage? Isn't it fun to live with? That is no place to hang out. And you wonder why we suffer. That's why we suffer. So you wake up and you realize that is the fall from the garden. You fell from eternal, infinite ecstasy, Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, down to Sally consciousness. And that's not a nice place to hang out. If you understood the talk this far, you are so rare. You know how few humans ever understand that's what's going on? That's what it means to wake up. You wake up and realize, I'm only okay if I get the world to match what my mind wants. And I am not okay if what's passing in front of me doesn't match what I want. In fact, I'm not okay if I think that it might not be what I want. Tomorrow, a year later, 5 years later, I'm suffering. Well, then you're suffering. That's what it means to wake up. You wake up to see what's going on. What's going on is I am the consciousness addicted to watching this crazy mind. And your mind makes your emotions. Can you think a thought and feel scared? Can you feel scared and think a thought? They're in cahoots. It's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy. The mind and the heart are conspired. They feel the same thing. It's the same vibration rate. So you wake up and you realize, do I have to live like this? Because what your mind is going to tell you is yes, you have to live like this. You're only going to be okay if you get what you want. And you're never going to be okay if you don't get what you want or if you get what you don't want. I have evidence, he says to you, or she says to you. She's right. If you don't get what you want, you feel lost and this and that. If you get what you don't want, you get scared and you don't like it. And if you think you might ever get what you don't want, you worry. Here, I have proof. You better get what you want. You better not get what you don't want. And that's where you live. It is in there telling you constantly, you better get what you want and avoid what you don't want if you want to be okay. And that's what they call success. Here's a successful person. He got what he wanted. Check it out. Okay? You don't even know what you want or not want. Now we're getting down to real teachings. How did your mind, I want to say you, how did your mind decide what you better get for it to be okay? It had past experiences. You got dumped, so you don't want to date anymore. This happened, that kind of thing. This kind of person didn't treat you right. You don't like that kind of person anymore. You got a job, you like the job, but then somebody else got the task that you wanted. You don't like your job anymore. You got past impressions based on different experiences that you had that the mind didn't like or liked. And now you want again what the mind liked to happen again. And you surely don't want it to happen again what the mind didn't like. So it is in there running your life. I add an I, ruining your life. Let's say you want something really bad. Oh my God, I want a yacht. Believe it or not, there are other people who don't want a yacht. They never thought of it, okay? But you want a yacht. Why? Why do you want a yacht? You saw a movie, something happened, somebody else got invited on a yacht and you felt jealous. I don't know. You didn't just make it up. There's something that happened that left an impression on your mind and your heart that said yachts are good things. And then you grew up and became a hippie in the 70s and realized that all the oligarchs in Russia had yachts and it was so wasteful, it was disgusting. You wouldn't get caught on a yacht in a million years. Look how fast it changed. Which is it? You like yachts or not? But how fast did it change? All it takes is another experience and all of a sudden there's something going on different in your mind. Which is truth? None of it. They're just impressions that got left on you. Whatever the latest one is where you're at. Have you ever loved somebody and found out they did something you didn't like, or at least you think they did something you didn't like, you don't love them anymore? Can the heart change that quickly? Isn't that ridiculous? Okay? So what's happening is you get these impressions made upon your mental body and emotional body, and then they're so loud and they demand that they only can be okay if they happen again the way I want and don't happen the way I don't want. And your consciousness doesn't ever come back here, noticing I'm back here, noticing the mind. It's called witness consciousness. Noticing the emotions, witness consciousness. So there's the step. Now I took you all the way down into the gunge. Now I'm working you out. You caught on. Getting what you want's oversold. Avoiding what you don't want's overrated. Has it ever happened in your life that you thought you didn't want something to happen when it happened and turned out to be really good? Okay? Things aren't the way you think they are. And they're not going to be the way you think they're going to be. And stop thinking they will. Your mind thinks it knows what's going on. It only knows what has happened before. And it puts it all together into an ego that says, I like this and I don't like that. And this is what I want. You don't have any idea what's best for you or what you want or anything. You're just like people trying to say, what do I do with my career? I'm graduating college and I don't know where I want to work and where I should go into. That's right, you don't. No, yes, you don't. Wow, that's a raw truth. What do I do with that? Sit with it. Admit it. Be comfortable. Be comfortable that you're not making up what you think your future should look like, because it's not going to look like that. Nobody's ever does. So you catch on that this thing you've done with your mind is not really good for being okay with life. All right, I've taken you down and you see that's where you live. Now let's go back up. What does going back up mean? It means put the movie in reverse and work your way back up. Why are you suffering? Because I'm not getting what I want, because I'm getting what I don't want. Don't give me details. Sure, you get details. What is it you want? What is it you don't want, right? But when it ends up, I'm suffering because I'm not getting what I want and I'm getting what I don't want, or because I think I might get what I don't want. All right, so now your mind is a complete mess. Your heart is associated with it. If it looks like what you want is going to happen, then you get disappointed when it falls apart. It's true of every single human being ever on the face of the earth. And you think your job is to get what you want and avoid what you don't want. So when mind says, "Oh, I want a yacht," you say, "Okay, I'll get you a yacht. How do I get it? I don't want to steal it. I don't know. I'll work all day and night. I don't know." But you'll do it because it's the only way you think you can be okay. The deep spiritual teachings do not teach you how to attract to yourself what you want. It is not a matter of attracting to yourself what you want, because it ain't going to mean squat in a very short period of time. Have you noticed? When was the last time you got what you wanted and never wanted anything else? Not even close. And so you do what's called waking up. You wake up and realize, whoa, that mind is my prison. It's not my liberation. Yes, if I get what it wants for a moment, it feels better, no question. But then it worries about losing it, it worries blah, 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 blah. So it's not what I should be listening to. What should I listen to? You don't know because you're busy listening to that. If I'm listening to a given radio station, and that's all I've ever listened to, and it's completely distracting my consciousness, and somebody says, well, listen to a different station. I don't even know there's a different station. That's the only station called I, Me, Mine. That's what's going on in there. So you need to somehow get out of it first. Distract yourself, extricate yourself from being addicted to the mind. Then you'll find out that there are other things you'll be conscious of. All right, how do you get out? You start very, very, very small, because it is not used to you questioning it. So one day you get up, it looks cloudy. You say, oh, I wanted to go hiking today. I don't want it to rain. And you notice, what a stupid thing for your mind to tell you. It is not going to change the weather. It has nothing to do with the weather. Why are you setting up to get depressed about the day? Why don't you sit there and say, it might rain today. We'll do something else. Isn't that better? Isn't that healthier? To not let the thing get all depressed about what might even happen. Then you're watching all day as of the weather being cloudy. Why would you listen to that? Why would you let that be what your mind is saying to you? You have willpower. You have the right to talk to the mind. Hello, mind. The weather's the weather. You ain't touching it. So there's no reason to not enjoy it. Which would you rather do? Enjoy if it rains and enjoy if it doesn't rain? Or get depressed if it rains and enjoy if it doesn't rain? Okay? It's your choice. You're in there. Are you not in there? I tell you, you're a conscious being. You are not your mind. You are not your emotions. You are not your mind. People write me, but which voice of the mind am I? None. If you notice a voice talking, it's not you. You're the one who's noticing. If you are aware that there is talking going on in your mind, feelings going on in your heart, you are obviously aware of them. That's who you are. You're the indwelling consciousness. But that's a big step we just took out of the muck and mire. And so you little by little, other people teach you, do hours of meditation a day. Fine, it's wonderful. Please do anything that can help. But I'm telling you, for most people, this is their path. On a daily basis, moment by moment, notice what your mind is doing and how it's ruining your day for no reason. Now, if it had a reason, if it sat there and said, I could do something to make it better, fine. Don't start there. I want low-hanging fruit. I want that it's complaining about the driver in front of you, about the weather, about what somebody said. You can't do anything about those things except make yourself suffer. Why would you suffer about the weather? I don't like driving in the rain. It doesn't matter. You're in the rain and there's driving going on. Please pay attention instead of thinking you don't like it, because that's not going to help the matter, is it? That's what I call low-hanging fruit. You'll be shocked how often you are making yourself miserable. Life does not make you miserable. You're not miserable because it's raining. You're miserable because you don't like the rain, because your mind is telling you, I don't like the rain. Understand that? And just little by little, you don't have to rush it, but practice being okay with reality. Practice being okay that events are taking place every moment of your life that have nothing to do with you, except you're making them bother you. Go out to lunch. I mean, this is a big one. It's more graduate school. Go out to lunch and drop some ketchup on your pants or your dress. Okay, there's some ketchup on your pants or dress. There used to be ketchup in the bottle. Now there's some there. So what? No, I'll be embarrassed. I don't want to go back to work. Hello in there. Hello, Mickey. Ooh, ooh. Hello. We're going back to work. Now, what do you do? Because there's nothing to do about it. Okay, here it is. What are you going to do? Suffer or don't suffer? That's your choice. Which do you want? Suffer or don't suffer? At some point, you will say, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to suffer. Not over things that I have control over. I can't make them be what I want, but I can be okay with what they are. Who's better off? The person who's complaining about how everything is, or the person that's fine with how it is? Obviously, you're fine. Then be fine. Start working with that. If you need affirmation, use affirmation. Okay, I love ketchup. Maybe I can taste a little. More really, let's go quickly. You get to the point where you realize this mind is causing a lot of trouble in my life. I want to learn to not listen to it, not to suppress it, not to deny it, not to beat it up, just to say it has thoughts. They are not meaningful. A mosquito flew by. A mind said something. Thoughts don't have to capture your consciousness, but you have to practice how not to. Okay? So it's there. There's ketchup on your pants, and the mind is giving you this embarrassment stuff. I'm embarrassed. People think I'm a slob. And I go, okay. How do you work with that? I know how I worked with it in my beginning years, right? I have a choice. Allow that to run my life, or stand up and say, I will be okay. However people think, because I don't care about that. If I care about what you think about me, I'm in trouble, because I don't know anything about what goes on inside your mind. And I've taught you before, and this is the toughest one. The way you think about me has nothing to do with me. He has a ponytail. He's old. Like all kinds of stuff. Right? It has nothing to do with me. It's because your brother had a ponytail and your mother didn't like it. I mean, there's impressions that you have. Maybe you love ponytails. How do I know? Why do I care? It's not about me. It's about you. What people think about you is not about you. It's about them. Where did they get the impression? Oh, look, she's heavy. Oh, look, she's skinny. Oh, look, she wears her hair short. Oh, look, she'd look a lot better if that happened. If she didn't wear lipstick, she'd look. If she wore lipstick, she'd look. Where'd you get all that junk? Your past life experiences, right or wrong. Mommy told you not to wear lipstick. These impressions got left on you. You have opinions and hopes and dreams and concepts and views, and you're dumping them on me. Has nothing to do with me. The question is how you see me matches who you see you. Now, you want to go out there with 8.3 billion people out there and care what every single one of them think about you? You're going to go crazy, aren't you? You will not have a nice life. Now, that's more graduate school than the driver in front of you or the weather. You just start saying, I need to let go of this. Let go of what? Other people? Other people's opinions? No. My getting affected by what I want of other people's opinions. I want to be able to walk out here and have a good old time. If you don't like me, that has nothing to do with me. Now, if I'm doing things purposely to make you not like me, that's a different thing. It has a lot to do with me. But if I'm just ketchup on my pants or ponytail or old or whatever the heck it is, if that's what it is, fine. That's fine. You call it accepting yourself as you are. No, it's accepting other people as they are, that they are judging you because of how they are, not because of who you are. There's a line in the Bible. It's so deep, it's hard to understand fully. It says, judge not that ye shall not be judged. For unto whatever measure you judge, so then it shall be judged unto you. What is it saying? It's saying exactly what I just said. If you judge somebody else, she's heavy, she shouldn't wear hair well. Wait till you see if your hair doesn't look good compared to you. However you judge somebody else is really judging yourself. It will come back and bite you. Just, okay, she's got zits on her face. So we're getting that now. We're ultra graduate school, PhD level, right? She got zits on her face. You're judging. You're talking to somebody, right? You get up in the morning. You need one of those triple X mirrors to see it. There's a blackhead. Oh, I'm not going out. Whatever measure you judge somebody else, you will judge yourself. Isn't that neat? That's in the Bible. Judge not that ye shall not be judged, for unto whatever measure you judge, so it shall be judged again unto you. It's truth in it. Stop it. Little by little, learn to say, I don't need this mind driving me crazy. And the main thing I don't need is to devote my life to make everything and everyone in my life match what my mind wants, because it ain't going to happen. And it causes ulcers and anxiety and all kinds of stuff, doesn't it? And so you little, not big, don't get scared. You're not practicing renunciation. Just little by little, pay attention. See how much trouble you're causing yourself for no reason. It does no good. People write me from all over the world. Thank you, you changed my life. Thank you, it works. Thank you, my relationship with my husband and children are working better. I was about to leave. Now I realize it was me. If you pay attention to the mess you are making of your life, that you are making of yourself, and stop doing that, just that. How do you stop doing it? When the mind says something and you see yourself start to react, relax. So I teach you, relax. What you do now is fight with it. You get involved in it, you all kinds of junk. What do I do about the fact that it might rain today? Blah, blah, blah. Instead, relax. Just relax. If it needs to talk, let it talk. You relax. Stay behind it. Don't get involved in it. Don't feed it. Just relax through it. Wait till you see what happens. That alone will change your life. That will change your life. Just in the low-hanging fruit. Of course it will. You're not making yourself anxious. How many things have you worried about in your life that never happen? How many? Wake up. You're making yourself miserable. You're ruining your life by letting this mind that's programmed by your past experiences guide your life. No, it doesn't guide your life. What happens as you let go, and let's go on up. As you let go and don't put energy into it, it's like Ramakrishna. It's like riding on water. Not the big things, but at first the small things are. I don't like the weather. It got said, it's gone. I don't have to suppress it. I have to deny it. What do I care what the stupid thing says? It's just trouble, right? It comes through. Or you say, tell it, look at it. Don't yell at it. Don't beat it up. If it says, oh my God, it might rain today, tell it, I love rain. I dare you to stand against it. At first, it'll freak you out how much power it has over you, right? Same as drugs, right? Get addicted to a drug. I don't want to do it anymore. Good luck. You hear me? You have to go through withdrawal of listening to your mind, okay? So you let go. What happens is because you let go, your mind becomes still, quieter. It's not complaining about so much. As you do that, there's this other energy, higher mind, still mind. It's clear mind, clarity mind, inspirational mind, attunement mind. You start noticing, okay, it's going to rain. Okay, we can have fun. It gets another layer instead of all down into the muck. And little by little, these layers keep going higher. They're still mind, but that's fine. There's higher and higher mind until eventually you're looking down there and it doesn't touch you anymore, literally. I don't care how long it takes. What's the difference? You're happy the whole way. It's not like all or nothing. It doesn't touch you anymore. What does that mean? It says what it needs to say. I've been in here long enough to know it doesn't mean nothing, and I can just let it go if it says something. That's the end of it. Oh my God, there's my girl. She's holding hands with somebody. I wonder what that is. I don't know. I'll find out later. Now, that's graduate school. Find out later. And you go home. He says, oh, my brother, I never told you about him. He came to visit today. Thank God you didn't open your mouth. And that's what you're going to say all the time. Thank God I didn't open my mouth. Thank God I didn't listen. Okay? How many times have you made a mess? You practice called letting go. You let go. Then it goes up higher. Then it goes up higher. And at some point, because you liberated your consciousness from being drawn down into the pollution of your mind, the consciousness starts to spread its wings a little bit. You can start seeing things more openly for what they are instead of caring so much about them and worrying about them and trying to control them and so on. And at some point, I'll go very quickly because we're out of time. At some point, something very, very special happens, which is instead of your consciousness being pulled down, you don't realize it's being pulled down now. You feel it because your muscles get tight, your stomach gets tight. It's being pulled down. The energy is being blocked and pulled down and resisting and fighting, even if you don't think you are. As you stop doing that and you practice being more open and receptive, the consciousness doesn't get pulled down into mind and emotions naturally. You don't have to fight. And then you start feeling something amazing. You start feeling this joy. coming up inside of you for absolutely no reason. You walk outside and a bird sings. Whoa, it blows you away. It's just all of a sudden more and more of this beautiful upward flow of energy. It's the same energy, but it used to be used to fight, to resist, to struggle. Now you've liberated that energy, which is spirit, Shakti. You liberated that energy to flow up, and then it will flow up more. And then you start the real learning, which is it keeps flowing up until I stop it. Why would you stop it? Because I don't like what happened. Because I might not get what I want. But at some point, the balance changes, and you realize, ready? That's what I want. That's when you're getting there. That's what I want. Not a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a family or money or a career or be famous. They are just coming and going, temporal things. You struggle day and night for them. What I always wanted was what they gave me, which was this rush of energy. So I don't want to give up that rush of energy. And so you start going through what's called cleansing. Things start coming up that you stored from before, and they don't feel good, but you don't go down there. You use the power to let go. You start doing what's called surrender, letting go. Do you just deal with the world? Of course you do. You deal with the world rationally, but you don't deal with the world to give you what you want. Well, why would I get married? Because you're filled with love and you want to share it. But what if you don't want to marry me? Have fun. But what if it hurts? Good. It hurts. If you let go, it don't hurt that much. It's worth it. That's all it boils down to. That's a state I never talked to you about. When you start realizing, a great yogi doesn't renounce anything. They're already getting everything. They're just not being stupid enough to come back down to manipulate everybody so they can feel what they're already feeling. Okay, now it's flowing up and you're committed to it completely. There's nothing you will not go through in order to keep the Shakti flowing, because you're the only one that can bring it back down. And so basically you go up, you rise up, it lifts you higher and higher, and you keep letting go. That's the whole key. Keep letting go. What if I fall? Get back up and let go. Just keep letting go. Don't judge yourself. Don't care. Just keep your eyes up all the time, and wait till you see what happens. That ecstasy will start flowing through you. Chit Ananda, eternal conscious ecstasy. You'll be a blessing on the earth. Jai Gurudev.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.